Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 15 game preview for the Dolphins at Giants. Right now, the over-under for this one is 46.5, and the Giants are favored to win this one. Right now, their implied point total is about 25 to 22, so it's set to be a decently close game. This one definitely has some injury implications on it as well. Devante Parker kind of swings this one. Looking at the Dolphins side, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a decent stream if Parker plays. The Giants are not very good against quarterbacks, but if Parker isn't there, you can't trust Fitz because none of his other options outside of Gesicki are any good, and I don't trust that Gesicki will help make Ryan Fitzpatrick become a good enough start. But if Parker is back, he becomes a very cheap play for you, most likely out there on the waiver wire. If you have junk options at quarterback, Fitz will probably have a decent game. On the running back side, the Giants have been very good against fantasy running backs in the last 5 weeks. They haven't really allowed anyone to run on them, which definitely caps a player like Laird's upside. But if you're in PPR, I like Patrick Laird's reception floor, and I still like him a lot as a flex. Not starting anyone else back there, but I do think that Laird will get at least 4 or 5 catches, which gives him a nice floor. On the wide receiver side, if Parker plays, he's a must start. The Giants cannot defend against receivers unless their name is JJ Arcega-Whiteside. They're very poor against receivers, and Parker has been absolutely dominant. He's been very consistent week in, week out. He left early last week with a concussion, so we'll see if he makes it through the concussion protocol. If he doesn't play, you're not starting a wide receiver in this game. If he does play, you're only playing Parker. And that's pretty much that. On the tight end side, I really love Gesicki this week. I'd play him if Parker is in or out. I would say it's likely that the Dolphins are going to score a touchdown this week. Last week, they got into the red zone. I can't remember. It was either 7 or 8 times. They ended up kicking 7 field goals. And they just couldn't get it done. But I think with Parker back and Gesicki this week, I think if there's any player that's the most likely to receive a touchdown in this game, it would be Gesicki. So I think he's a really good play, and I would start him. I'm not playing either defense in this game, so we'll leave it at that. Jump over to the Giants side. The Dolphins are 4th in points allowed for the quarterback. It's gross, I know, but Eli Manning could easily be a top 10 quarterback this week. If you're not happy with your options, see if Eli Manning's on the waiver wire, and you can start him. Now on the running back side, Saquan Barkley has been honestly one of the most disappointing players this year. He missed a couple games with that high ankle sprain and really hasn't been himself ever since he came back. So it's likely that he's still playing with lingering effects of that injury. And honestly, at this point, most of you probably that are still in the playoffs right now don't have Saquan Barkley because you probably didn't make the playoffs if you drafted him in the first round. However, if you do have him, this is a good week to play him. The Dolphins are 6th in points allowed against the running back, and you're not going to get cute with this one. You play Barkley. All right, looking at the receivers, last week we were shying away from Slayton because we weren't sure what the rapport was going to be with Eli Manning, and that proved out to be a bad choice because Slayton is really good. So we're going to keep playing Slayton. I'm thinking that Slayton could easily do what Robbie Anderson did last week. The Dolphins typically do very poorly against big play wide receivers, and that's what Slayton is. So I love him this week. I also think Shepard is a mid-floor flex with touchdown upside, someone that if you need a floor play, I think Shepard ends up being a decent play for you. I'm not looking to start Tate though. Tate looked bad against the Eagles last week, who don't have a good pass defense. They had very little chemistry with Eli. Basically what Tate did last week was what I was expecting Slayton to do. So we're just flipping our narrative. We're going to continue starting Shepard, but we're definitely starting Slayton this week. I think he is a great DFS play and a great upside wide receiver for you. Tight ends are very complicated in New York right now because Ingram is still trying to play. He almost came back last week, and then he was a late week inactive. If he plays, you're going to definitely be tempted to start him because he's playing against the Dolphins, which would make me like Shepard a little bit less. But I'm still going on the intention that Ingram doesn't play this week. But if he does, you can throw him out there. Just you run the risk that he plays like 2 plays and then re-injures his foot and then sits the rest of the game because the Giants aren't playing for anything. So I'm trying to find other options. If you're relying on Ingram to come back this week, it's probably not going to happen. And then I already mentioned I'm not playing either defense in this week, so that's that. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you come to some of those very important decisions that you're having to make at this time of the year, so that way you can get back to the things that are really important to you and spend time with people around this holiday season. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope you make it to your fantasy championships, and we will see you in the next video.